on your cue here.
Alright.
Remember your on-air light?
We've got 5 seconds. And we are...
Good.
All right, Rich Casanova here on one end of the table, Michael Moore on the other side. How's today going for you so far?
Well, I'm holding down the end of the table so far. This is a gorgeous springtime day in Atlanta. All the good stuff is gone, and we've got just a beautiful day coming ahead. So good to be with you, Rich.
And we got some beautiful people in the studio, on the camera, behind the camera, and on the mics. Yeah,
We've got some entrepreneurship working today and some SBA working today. We've got a fabulous show lined up for you.
Yeah, we're big fans of the SBA. Had them in a number of times over the years, and we got the same colors on our logo. Our middle name is Business, so we're very excited to have some new guests here joining us. We're going to shout out to Lindsay for helping make this happen as well.
Don't forget Lola now.
Yeah, well, yeah, Lola, I think she's on vacation or whatever. Yeah, so she's been traveling. Yeah, so we need an update here. So, Michael, if you want to introduce our guest here.
I will. This morning we've got Ashley Bell, who is the Region Director for Region 4 of the SBA, which is 6, 7, 8 states.
8 states.
It's half the empire.
Yeah.
I know that. and he's rocking to put in $1 billion of loans every time he can turn the deck. And then also we've got Dr. Bruce Berger from Clark Atlanta University. He's going to talk a little about entrepreneurship and innovation there in that neighborhood and share with us some success stories. So let's just kind of roll right into Mr. Bell. You know, you have a neat set of credentials. You're not only an attorney, but you're an entrepreneur, and now you're a presidential appointee. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you so much. It's so great to be with both of you, Rich and Mike. This is a fantastic setup you got here, a beautiful view. This is the high rent district here. Y'all are doing all right. I know that.
We used to call it the $1 million view, but none of these buildings they're over, so we called our Buckhead $1 billion view.
Yeah, $1 billion. That's about right. That's about right.
Well, we are the center of the universe, as we say here. It's not Peachtree or Piedmont anymore. We've moved it up to Lenox and Peachtree.
So new on board with the SBA. Tell us a little bit of backstory before we jump into your new position. What were you doing in a former life?
Well, I've had several former lives. I think I've outlived more than most cats, I'll say that.
All right,
you know, most immediately, I was an attorney here in Atlanta. I actually started off my law practice in Gainesville, Georgia, where I'm from. In Gainesville, I was a former elected official. I was elected to the county commission at 27 there. And that was, you learn a lot with a job like that, I tell you. And then growing my business in Gainesville down to Atlanta. And then it became regional. So I had an office in Alabama, in Florida, and then we spread to California, New York.
Wow.
So we grew a pretty substantial practice. And but even before that, I actually, while I was in law school at the University of Georgia, I actually ran a chain of retail stores that I built. Yeah, I built, my wife and I built up a chain of retail stores, and that's what I actually sold to start my own law firm to get it going.
Wow.
He was almost a fashion mogul.
That's a great story. I also noticed how you pointed out Gainesville, Georgia for the UGA fans. So you make sure it's not confused with the other Gainesville.
Yeah, absolutely. We always have a joke. Gainesville, Georgia, we don't have on jean shorts, and that's how you know we're not from Gainesville, Florida.
Nice. So before we jump to the SBA, I'm intrigued by that backstory of the retail stores. What type of retail was that?
Well, you know, we was general merchandise. Gainesville's a small town, relatively speaking, and I really wanted to find an opportunity to create a business in the African American community. And many times in small towns, the two businesses or staples in that community are going to be your barbershop and your funeral home. That's really where most of your traffic. And so I built my store right in the middle, brick and mortar store. It was, you know, the 2 stores we had over 10,000 square feet. It was a great opportunity for me to hire people from my community, to provide opportunities for people who necessarily couldn't get them. Many times I had friends that grew up in that neighborhood who may have had a small something on their background that have they ever maybe committed a crime or something stupid when we were in high school, couldn't get a job.
Right, yeah.
That box on the application boxed them out of an opportunity, but for me, I could hire them because I owned a business, and it provided opportunities, and I saw that as the real benefit of entrepreneurialism is that you can go into a community and hire who you want and help shape that community. So it was important to me, and so because law school does not teach you how to run a business.
That's right.
It just teaches you the law.
Yeah.
So it was good for me to have that experience before I started my firm. Because that gave me the sort of know-how on how to meet payroll and how to make sure
It comes every Friday.
It comes every Friday.
I love that. So you're the original Amazon for Gainesville.
Amazon Gainesville.
And then also in town there was barbers and there was funeral homes. So you get your hair cut and then you get carried away. Yeah,
that's it. That's it.
So Dr. Berger, you're the entrepreneur and innovation guy down here at Clark Atlanta University, and you've been at it for a few years. So you've seen some great success stories. I know you're excited to have new connection for the SBA, but you guys have a backstory as well, right?
Yes, we do. Clark Atlanta University in Southwest Atlanta, as you know, is a full research institution. Our sister and brother schools, Spelman and Morehouse, are there. And we focus really on getting an entrepreneurial mindset for our students. That's number one. We're trying to build out right now over the last couple of years an ecosystem around entrepreneurship and innovation, so our students get a feel for what it's like to do what Ashley did, start a business, which is really a very difficult thing to do if you know anything about that. And so not only are we working with our students, but I was lucky enough to be a recipient of a Department of Commerce EDA grant, and we're working with small businesses to grow entrepreneurs in Southwest Atlanta. Most of these folks are African American. They've been pretty much disconnected from the community, and we're trying to connect them to entrepreneurship. And we're working with SBA, SCORE, because eventually they're going to have to go there once we give them the basics and really get accelerated.
Well, I know one of the things on everybody's heart here in Atlanta, and it's really been focused on, is we're a center for a lot of veterans. And I know that Clark Atlanta University actually really emphasizes renewing veterans' interest in education. And I know the SBA has some phenomenal programs, so we'll talk about those a little bit later on. But just numbers. How many entrepreneurs are you producing down there in Southwest Atlanta?
Well, all of them.
All of them. That's right. That's pretty much.
Well, we try to get our students focused on the startup concept, so they can go out even during school. You know, a lot of them are doing these little side hustle deals.
That's what I started off.
Well, I was going to say, now we just got the intro to that, so
Yeah.
there are things that the community needs. I know that, I could tell you today, last week or so, I've been down one of your streets in Southwest talking to a young entrepreneur about a coffee shop.
Absolutely.
And a community coffee shop where
Yeah.
people really could gather.
And I think the bigger issue is, and first, Bruce is doing a phenomenal job at Clark Atlanta. The incubator system, the ecosystem for those young people to learn about entrepreneurship is so important, because that is sort of our big challenge. How do we go back to small towns outside of Atlanta? Because all those students aren't from Atlanta; they're from everywhere.
Right.
You want to send them back out.
Right. The reason I chose to become an entrepreneur was the way I could go back home and not have to come into the big city. There's small towns across this country that are losing their best and brightest every day to the big cities, and there's small towns that are suffering. And rural Georgia is focusing is a big focus of ours. This administration is focused on rural engagement and helping out the economy in rural areas. And how we see that changing is by changing the mindsets of the young people. The young people who are in the high school level and they go to college, let them know that entrepreneurship is an option for a job, and to come back home and look at starting a business where you came from. That is how we change the mindsets. That's how we create economic
There are
activity.
buildings, there are people, and there are
Absolutely.
needs and opportunities there.
Well, I mean, it's all about small business and small towns, whatever, right? That's the backbone of the country.
Absolutely.
We'll talk about some of those stats in just a second. Let's rewind for a second. I'm going to let you introduce the SBA for those folks that are not familiar with it, a little bit of their history, the back story. But we got to do a shout out to Cassius Butts. What's you know this guy, right?
I talked to Cassius this morning, actually.
Yeah, great guy.
Right.
So he had quite a run with the SBA. Great guy. He's off doing some other things now as well, right?
Yeah, it's funny you say that. I literally talked to Cassius on the way
wow,
here.
wow,
And
that's crazy. Yeah, right.
and you know, Cassius has been a friend before this, and it's just ironically just a even better friend now, because he's been here, done that.
Yeah.
He got the
I
T-shirt.
think it's called mentor.
Yeah, right.
So what did Cassius
Whatever
say?
it is, I don't have to pay him for the advice. I'll call him that.
Nor do you have to record it.
Exactly.
So this Ashley called him this morning, like, should I look out for these guys, Rich and Michael, or what? Give me the
That's
heads
exactly
up.
what
What's
it
the
was.
heads up?
He told me all about Mike. He told me ready for it.
Nice.
No, but you know, Cassius is a great example of someone who's been dedicated to public service and did a really good job of really setting the stage for this region. And I think I'm fortunate enough to be in a position now to inherit a lot of his staff, a lot of folks he put in place. But you know, the mission is still the same. SBA is about creating opportunity, working with our counseling partners, our contracting partners, and making sure we're helping folks get access to capital. It's that simple. And that story continues, and SBA products and services are around that. And so we've been really fortunate to have great resource partners.
Oh, you do have some of those through our schools and universities as well as
Exactly.
all of our incubators, and so you're in a target-rich environment.
Absolutely. And when Bruce and I got a chance to get together at Clark, it was a big, he had a big convention with NASA over at Clark and focusing on opportunities for 8A firms to get federal contracts. And I think that's important because the 8A program has been a big jolt in the arm of the economy, just by taking businesses that are on the verge of trying to get to the next level, working with our SBA partners, with the people who help you figure out your business plan, how to forecast where you're going to go the next couple of years, and then saying, look, here's some opportunities for you to compete and bid. Let me tell you, our small business winner of the year in Alabama, I tell the story all the time because this is the story that pretty much encompasses what we do and why we do.
All right, I'm on the edge of my seat.
So
Go.
this is a guy who didn't have a college education. He had went into business for himself. He had one truck and 2 cousins. One truck, 2 cousins.
That sounds like a
Sounds like
24-hour operation
it does,
already.
all right.
doesn't it?
Sounds like another brand, but yeah, go ahead.
Exactly.
One truck, 2 cousins.
One truck, 2 cousins, and he wants to move people. So he gets out, he starts going to apartment complexes, putting out flyers, and he starts saying, look, I'm going to just charge $50 a flat fee to move anybody anytime. And now that sounds like a good idea because it gets your attention, but some people got about 10 kids and 10 rooms, and some people may have 1. So he didn't really think that part out. But what he did do is he got connected with SBA and with our SBDC, which is our small business development centers. And they helped him understand and said, you know what, you're bringing in money and you're putting it in your pocket, but we can't count that. I can't invest in that. I need you to get it out of your pocket into a bank. And so this young man got a bank account so he could track the money he was making. And then our SBICs, our small business investment companies, decided they wanted to invest in this young man because he had the tools and the work and the know-how. So they take him and they said, look, become an 8A firm. So he went through the certification, became an 8A firm, and they looked at contracting opportunities. The first one that showed up was, we need movers in the federal government.
That's right.
What's the number one place that needs movers?
The
Y'all-
federal government.
Well, which part of it? Department of Defense?
Military.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Our
I
men
was
and
going to say
women-
IRS.
Uniforms.
Uniforms. We have men and women across this
They
country.
move every 2 and 3 years.
And every day at a military base, somebody's coming
Wow.
and going, and somebody needs to do it. So this young man, with the help of our SBIC, they invested in his company, gave him the capacity to have more trucks and more space, taught him how to write a business plan. He submitted for his first his first 8A contract, won it. $3 million contract first time out.
Jeez.
And now he has $5 million in federal contracts and $3 million in private sector contracts, all starting by moving our men and women out of bases in Huntsville and in Mobile, Alabama, and he just turned 23 years old.
Oh my God, that's
Wow.
insane.
And so he's got some more cousins now.
He got some more cousins. A
So
lot
he's
more
got
cousins.
to come to Clark Atlanta and get his MBA now.
Yeah, and he's got to come get his MBA. He's
They
gotta
come to
get his
PBC and be interviewed.
That's
so,
right.
And the title of that show would be From Scrappy to Success.
Right.
Yeah.
16 trucks now. 16 trucks.
wow,
He's got
that's
40,
insane.
45 employees permanently. He expands when he has the business need. But to be able to take a young guy who just wanted to move apartments to moving our men and women, and with multi-million-dollar business in less than 2 years, and he's not even 25. Folks, that's the story what SBA can do. He touched all the areas of SBA. He touched SCORE for getting a startup, touched our SBDCs and how to grow his business, touched our investment folks to get investment capital into his business. So he didn't even get a loan, the SBA loan. He got investment capital from our small business investments.
Much better,
company.
much better.
Much
And
better.
he's an innovative entrepreneur.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's probably the best, when we have guests in here, like the SBA and so forth, tell us a bit about the organization, how it works, the mechanics.
Right.
But that is probably the best because it's not just giving us facts and numbers, but a story.
Absolutely.
Right, a real life
Right.
story of success. We want to pivot now and talk about, with you new on board, how long now on board now?
2 months.
2 months.
He's got, you're not even to 100 days yet.
I know.
2 months, 3 days, and 8 hours.
Right, exactly.
Honeymoon
Yeah.
period.
So now talk to us, Ashley, about your short. What's on your short list for short-term projects and long-term? And I don't want to say legacy right now.
Right.
But what are some short-term projects and some big initiatives that you foresee for the Southeast region?
Obviously, focus on us in Atlanta, but talk about the other
No, for the whole
states.
Southeast, yeah.
Yeah, well, I think that the big part is finding good partners like Bruce, who's here today, and this is why I invited him. I think that we got to do a better job of focusing on our students because not only they're the next generation, but these millennials, the access to technology makes them even more ready to become entrepreneurs in any generation we've ever had because they have access to technology in the entire world from their fingertips all day long.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I spent time yesterday meeting with the Young Entrepreneurs of Atlanta, an organization of over 1,000 young millennial entrepreneurs that are here in this city.
What's the name of the group again?
YE.
Okay.
Young Entrepreneurs.
Okay,
yeah. They go by YE. And so these young people are in high schools every day, meeting with high school teachers and folks in colleges, basically helping young people understand entrepreneurship. And what I want to do with SBA is just say, look, you can have a great idea. You can go online and dang near create anything you want, any kind of business you want. But let's talk about getting you organized, getting you in a way that you can have a business that's sustainable, that's trackable, that you can have people invest in early. Because, you know, for us, the barriers to making money, becoming successful, are that you don't know what you don't know. You don't know the pitfalls. And the problem is when you start a business and you don't know, every mistake has a dollar sign attached to it. Every mistake costs you money. And so what we want to do is be a part of your journey to help you not have to make the same mistakes or not have those fatal mistakes that could cost you your business and could cost you the success you need. So when we talk about access to capital, a big part of my vision for here and across this region is to create more access points to capital. I think right now we have great lenders, for traditional lenders that are doing our 504 loans, which many times go to either purchase real estate or anything a business need, or our 7A loans. Those are our tried and true programs. Can't go wrong with those. Those are there. But micro lending is what's going to really jumpstart these young entrepreneurs and get them in a position to expand their businesses quickly. We need more access points to micro lending, especially in these opportunity zones. The Tax Reform Act that just came out created opportunity zones here in Georgia. Governor Deal just announced the great tracks that are all over the state where these opportunity zones are going to be, where people can invest more of the resources, and we can focus on rehabilitating these communities. A big part of that is making sure that the people in these areas know the programs we have. And a big part of that is making sure that in those areas that people understand that our SBICs, our small business investment companies, that's where they can invest and get their biggest bang for their buck. So we need to encourage people to move to those areas to help generate that activity. And working with our young people, it's the same thing with them, helping them understand here's where you can go start a business and get out the gate a little quicker and a little faster. And I think sharing that information and bringing all that together, we can really take advantage of this economy that we have right now.
And we have a tremendous value for those, and that really helps the students, like you said, Clark University, go out back out.
Right.
I mean, because they've got a place to go, they've got a plan, they've got an idea, and it might be the next town over that they grew up in. But
All right, gentlemen, we're at about our halfway point here. Just want to remind our listeners, you're listening to Georgia Business Radio with Rich Casanova, Michael Moore, and we're joined in the studio here today with Ashley Bell, the District 4 Director for SBA, and also Dr. Berger, Bruce Berger with Clark Atlanta University. So, gentlemen, let's turn our attention now to some challenges that you foresee. So, Mr. Bell, what are some challenges in your position or with the SBA, maybe getting the message out, or?
Well, you know, we've gone through a rebranding. We've changed, so all the logos you've previously seen of SBA are gone.
But they're still blue and white, right?
Nope.
Oh.
No, no, they are. They're red, white, and blue. I mean, it's going to be some variation of red, white, and blue.
Nice,
so.
exactly.
got a lot of names.
We're not in Italy. Yeah,
right. Exactly. So we're rebranding for a purpose. We're helping people understand that this is a new look SBA. This is the SBA of the 21st century. We're coming into this new age and trying to be more responsive to the market. You know, one thing that I think Administrator McMahon, who's a phenomenal person, who is the first SBA administrator in the last 25 years that actually owned a small business.
Really?
Which says a lot.
Wow. 25
years when it's actually owned a small business.
And they've been around 50 some odd years, so half history. Oh.
Exactly. So with that comes challenges of keeping up with technology. So the big challenges for us is how people see the commercials online and they see the little Muppet and the guy with the jacket on wanting to go to the bank to get a loan, and he's like, oh, I don't want to get up and put my suit on and go to the bank. And so when people think of SBA, they think in people's minds it's way worse than that. They got to get up, get a suit on, go meet with somebody, too much paperwork.
Yeah.
So we have to. People are making lending look a whole lot easier. Rocket Mortgage is in your app and your phone. I mean, all these things are making lending look easier. So we have to do a better job of helping people see that we can keep up with the times. So we have a lender match program now, which is online, which is something where you can go online and you can apply for an SBA loan similarly as you would to LendingTree.
Wow.
Where you can go online and it can match you up instantly with different banks and different lenders that are able to give you access to capital. And if you don't get any matches, that's when you call our friends at our SBDCs, when you call our resource partners and you say, look, I didn't get any matches. Maybe I need to retool my toolbox a little bit and present myself a little better. And we can take care of that too. But part of it is technology. Part of it is streamlining and letting people know this new generation of entrepreneurs, this new generation of Americans that is, embracing this great economy we have, unemployment going down. with people having business, having more money in their pocket thanks to the tax cuts, what are they going to do with that money? They want to grow it, and they want to invest in their business.
And I love acronyms. You were talking earlier about access to technology. So AT&T, do we need to get them on the line for them to sign off on that, or what?
You know what? I never knew what AT&T stood for until right now.
Okay.
So you
Doctor,
mentioned, you
that's
mentioned
a
other
Jeopardy
programs.
question.
You mentioned other programs. I know that Emerging Leaders has just had a big program here in
Absolutely.
Atlanta. I know you were on the stage there recently. So talk a
Yeah,
little
you
bit
know
about
what?
that.
And this is a program where I think we get a phenomenal class of people. And I think that we got to do a better job of just recruiting. And I'd love to come to Clark and talk to some of their folks about how do we get them involved in our Emerging Leaders class. Because you can't take everybody, but I'm going to tell you this. When people understand that this, what this Emerging Leader program has to offer, every number shows that people who get done with our program make over 10% more money in their bottom line when they graduate. That's real money, folks.
That's
Like,
that year.
I think, yeah, that's that year. That year. So I don't know anybody in your business right now. If you said, if I do something, I can make 10% more money next year, I wouldn't just sign up and go do it.
That is sign me up. And you said on the new website, it's now available for folks because people
Absolutely.
can't find things unless they know where to look. But come to the SBA site.
Yeah, absolutely. SBA.gov and /Emerging Leaders. You can keep up with that program. And also spread the word. This Emerging Leaders. Let me tell you who it's for. It's not for startups per se. It's for that young business. We call them the threes. You got about three employees. You've been in business about 3 years, and got about 300 in gross
right.
receipts. If you can meet the three threes, and you're somewhere in that ballpark, then we can work with you because this is to take you to the next level.
Well,
It's
you
not-
are special because you're going to grow that business, as you said, 10% a year, and that compound process works.
Absolutely.
So over in the educational side, as you take the young entrepreneur, the wantrepreneur, is that still a good word?
That's still a good
Is that a
word.
winky PD somewhere? Okay, so we got a wantrepreneur
That's a
who
good
comes to Clark, Atlanta, and he winds up in your building. Talk
Okay.
about his experience there, talk about how it interfaced with the SBA, and talk about what you would deem to be success for a graduating senior or a first semester sophomore.
And part of that is our friend Cassius, because actually Cassius Butts taught with me in my entrepreneurship.
Uh-oh, there's a job offer.
So this guy doesn't know it, but he will
this
be.
guy. This guy.
He's already signed up, and he's on the schedule, he just needs to clear it with his PR people.
Yeah, but to your question, Mike, we have these students come in and they're raw and they want to make money. They want to be entrepreneurs. It's a totally different mindset today with our millennials, as Ashley talked about. They really, really want a business opportunity. So they come in, and what we do is we teach them the lean startup methodology, the business model canvas. We teach them how to go out and talk to potential customers and get that feedback to see if there is a demand for that product, what will people pay for it. And so we get them to a point where they can actually get some seed money. And our biggest challenge, really is around funding these startups. And so SBIC loans, they may not be ripe for those yet, but once they just get a little bit of seed capital, they just take off. And that's where I think where Ashley and I are going to really be able to put our heads together and start to develop these young minds, because he's exactly right. It is fertile ground to build a tremendous economy and ecosystem with these young kids.
And a micro lending program is a good
No,
point.
that's not Bitcoin, is it? Yeah.
No, that's not Bitcoin. That's not Bitcoin.
It's real cash.
It's real
U.S.
cash.
government issued cash.
Right,
yeah.
absolutely. When I mentioned more access points, one of the things that SBA does well is we help our nonprofit lenders issue these microloans, and that's important because these nonprofits, we help them leverage the little capital they have. And so if you're a nonprofit out there and you are in the business of doing small loans, you could be a Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, or you could be you can actually be a religious organization, as long as you're a nonprofit, 501c3. Say you got $50,000 that you got in your church and you're just loaning out to people who need it in the community, and I've seen churches do this. You just got a revolving pot. If you got $50,000 and you've been doing this for over a year, the SBA can come in and help you leverage that 50. We'll give you another 50. So now you got 100 to leverage. If you're any nonprofit out there and you're in the business of doing this, SBA is in a position to help you leverage this. We were just in South Carolina with the African American Chamber of Commerce in Beaufort. They raised $25,000 in a revolving loan program, and we gave them additional, I think it was 75 to give them 100.
Wow.
Now this money, we obviously, we help you, teach you how to
Sure,
lend it
yeah,
out, right?
yeah.
We help you audit it every year to make sure your money's coming in. But the bottom line is, by working with nonprofits, we can put more access points to capital around this state, around this city, so that so no matter where your business is, you should be a stone's throw away from access to getting the capital that you need.
And this is back in the community where it can be observed and, as I say,
Absolutely.
reported to the individuals who are
Right.
the next level of lender.
Absolutely.
Not only the next level of lender from a bank, but also the person who wants to put money back into their local economy, the business owners who are making an extra 10%. They can invest it, right?
Hey, you're talking my language now, because I don't know if you read my mind, but we're launching a new show called Nonprofits Radio.
Right.
Yeah, another acronym, NPR, just don't tell the other NPR about it, whatever. Yeah. So it's Nonprofits Radio, so we'd love to continue that conversation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And this is something that's going to be, this leveraging opportunity is new to Georgia, and we're going to bring it to, this is part of my vision for how we create more
Okay.
access points, is working with Georgia nonprofits to get this done. Other states in the region are doing it. I think Georgia's in a prime position to take advantage of the vast amount of nonprofits we have.
Yeah.
That could make this as part of their program.
Well, that's, just a bit of a side note, but that's our mission is to give back. So early on we thought, could we adopt a single nonprofit or put aside some funds? But we thought, wait a second, we had what we call a BFO. Have you ever heard of what a BFO is?
No, what is it?
It's a blinding flash of the obvious.
Oh, okay.
You can use that one later.
It blinded us.
Yeah,
That's why we
So we're
stopped
thinking,
on
wait
that.
a minute, we could put aside some money. We thought, wait a second, we have this platform, 500,000 downloads. We have we're top in the top 5%
Right.
of all websites globally around the entire world, right? And so we thought, why not give, we'll fund it, we'll make it happen. So we're launching Nonprofits Radio as a way to spotlight nonprofits in Georgia and beyond and help them tell their message. A lot of the smaller local community ones that don't really have a platform to broadcast their message or whatever, right?
Right,
So
that's exactly
we're very
right.
passionate about that. So so we'll continue the conversation, but we have a few minutes remaining. Let's talk about some of the signature events for the SBA throughout the year. So whatever's on your plate. As I know, Small Business Week is a big initiative,
It is.
right?
This is our big annual week of celebrating small businesses. So around the state, we're going to have events all over the state of Georgia. But the big National Small Business Week push comes through Region 4. So I'm very
All right.
honored.
Shout out for Region 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's give them a round of applause.
absolutely.
Yeah. Hey now.
I'm excited to host the Administrator Linda McMahon starting in Jacksonville, Florida.
Okay.
And we're going to take a bus. It goes from, I know.
I've heard about those bus tours. for
These
the
bus
SBA.
tours,
Yeah, I love
right,
them.
exactly. So we're going from Jacksonville, Florida, to Savannah, Georgia, to Columbia, South Carolina, to Raleigh, and we'll culminate everything in Raleigh, but along the way we're going to get a chance to meet with small business owners and talk about these incredible winners and announce our winners for the year. I'm proud to say that the National Exporter of the Year is from our region.
All right.
That's a big deal to be
Yeah.
the National Exporter of the Year
Wow.
for America.
Not just the region.
No. This is for America. Is right here. CDEC, and it just I just love seeing these companies with these great stories. If anybody has a boat or has any sort of water product, CDEC basically just you got your slippery decks and all that. They basically can come in and you just kind of cut and paste, and they put a cover over your deck that makes it look good, makes it resistant to water and rust and all this stuff. So people are buying it around the world now. They're going and they're redoing all their decks for all their watercraft. All of the small business that started off in an SBDC in South Florida with just a couple of ideas, and now it's peel and stick. You got a whole new deck just by peeling something off and putting it on your deck.
Dude, you're quite the pitch man. Whatever. When you get rid of this SBA gig, we want to hire you on board to pitch PVC for us. Yeah.
Well,
So that bus tour, so you feel like a rock star when you're on. This will be your first bus tour. Then,
This is
right?
my
With
first
the SBA,
bus
yeah.
tour, but the rock star will be our administrator, the administrator Linda McMahon, who I tell you, when she tells her story and people hear about it, and it's so amazing because just to be honest, you can't go anywhere without somebody asking her about the WWE. And so and the staff,
nice,
you get worried because you're like, does she want to hear this?
Right,
Or not? And she totally embraces it. She totally embraces it and would tell you, say, look, what you see today is not what we
Bring
had
it
to go
on.
through. She said, I had to watch us fail.
Right.
I had to watch my house get foreclosed.
Wow.
I had to watch my car get repossessed. And I had to start over with my husband from scratch to build WW to what you see today. And for every business owner who hears that, it's not just about the success stories, but
is
it's
a
that
story.
comeback story. There's a story of America and a story of America's small business.
That's right.
This guy's good, right?
Hey, I think he is a good guy. So you've got also, back in the fall, we have Small Business Saturday. We have a lot of other things going on, a lot of events. So continue to visit that website, sba.gov.
But when is the
Absolutely.
bus tour? When is that?
The bus tour
the
starts
week?
on Monday.
Next week,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah.
Starts on
Yeah,
Monday.
okay.
So Monday
Yeah.
we start off early in the morning, and we'll Tuesday. Am I right, Lindsay? Was it Tuesday? Tuesday, yeah. I got it right here. Tuesday
Yeah.
morning, we leave
May
in
1st.
Jacksonville, May 1st.
Nice. All right.
May
So
day.
you need to be YouTubing that or social media.
And you can do that.
Okay.
And you can do that.
Oh, hey now.
What a lead in, what a lead in.
This guy's good at bridging right here.
Yeah.
So you can follow us, and we have a virtual conference.
Okay.
That you can go to SBA.gov, and you can. Our virtual conference is going to be every day from Monday to 1st to Thursday,
Wow.
the 3rd, from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. You can go on SBA.gov and see all sorts of webinars of the big topics we're talking about around the country, from how changing consumer behavior impacts your business to hugging your haters, creating better clients.
Hugging your haters, I love that. Hashtag,
yeah,
yeah.
grow your business, managing your finances in the cloud, all sorts of things. So if you want a free look, I'm gonna tell you, this is good. This is not as good as the education offered at Clark Atlanta.
It's the second best.
It's the second best. If you can't go to Clark Atlanta and get a mini course going, this is
Jump
the
on
best
the bus,
thing to
yeah.
do. Yeah.
All right,
So, I mean, and you're very robust on the social media for Twitter and so forth. So, Michael, you want to close it off or let people know how?
Well, yeah, I was going to say the best thing now. I know there's a lot of events always going on in Clark Atlanta because there's all these students down there and all the time doing stuff. But tell us how they get in touch with your center, Doctor.
All right. Well, the best way is to come get on the website at Clark Atlanta University, www.cau.edu, and then there's a page that will send them to the Innovation and Entrepreneurship Center. Or they can call me directly at 404-880-1945. That's 404-880-1945.
And your email for their benefit?
B-E-R-G-E-R, that's bburger@cau.edu.
Great. Well, we look forward to having a lot of people connect because I know there's just one more aspiring entrepreneur out there that heard the show today and is going to become one of your students.
Well, I get the calls every time I get on the radio or the TV.
And Ashley, your social security number or
Exactly.
just SBA.org?
Yeah, SBA.gov is the best way to go.
.gov, yeah.
Forest Ford, Georgia. And you can reach our district office. Terry Dennison's our district
Oh, yeah.
director.
She's awesome, yeah.
She does a great job here in Georgia. And so anything we can do with the Georgia office or regional, just let me know.
Great, guys. Thanks, gentlemen, for being here. We'll see you next time on another episode of Georgia Business Radio.
Okay. Yeah. There we go.
Good job, fellas.
All right.
It's a tough act to follow, man.
Yeah, I know, man. That was
That was
good,
fun.
man.
That was
Yeah,
fun.
you did good.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
side note, I used to do radio.
We'll do
before I
some
got my
we'll do
business.
some photo ops here, yeah. Just
Okay.
remain seated. Yeah, we're gonna.
So I had a little radio show up in Gainesville.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was WDUN. It was a Fox affiliate. I did it for like 7 years,
Yeah.
so it was fun. Cool.
We're gonna do some photo ops right
Oh,
here.
here? I
Yeah,
thought we were
right.
standing over
Well,
here.
we'll do both. Yeah,
No,
right here first.
we'll
Yeah.
do the stage one here to make sure everybody's smiling and looking the same way, and
Yeah.
then we'll do a couple more. Rich is our he's got